Hello, everyone. It's Jordan Tales, and I wanted to share with you guys a really fun build that I've been playing uh, in Path of Exile 2 Dawn of the Hunt League. Uh, my first character was a Witch Hunter, as usual, which I got to level 94, and I had a lot of fun with that one, and I still play it. However, I wanted to try one of the new mercenary uh, ascendancies, the Tactician, and ever since the Tactician came out, I was drawn towards the uh, specialization in the ascendancy that allows you to basically stun enemies that are pinned with projectile damage. And there's quite a lot of ways to really get around to using that. And the most popular one that I've seen around is with the skill called Siege Cascade. However, I wanted to take a different approach, and I really wanted to try and see if I could make the skill Trinity work with the Tactician. And I am pretty satisfied to what I uh, came up with. Uh, Looking at the fact that I'm not really uh, an expert by any means on the game, or I'm not super knowledgeable, and I wanted to see how far I could push a build that I just try to come up with myself. Um, and I wanted to share it with everybody so that if anybody out there wants to give it a try, you can go ahead and do so because it's really fun for mapping. And as you will see, and it's also possible to do pinnacle content as well. Uh, so really quick, uh, I'm gonna give you the pros and cons of the build, and then I'm gonna show you a couple clips, and then I'm gonna go over the main build. Uh, so some of the pros of this build is that you can actually clear 2 to 3 screens away with this build, and uh, the it's so ridiculous at times that I have to hold myself back from using my skills if I have a wisp on the screen because I will kill the rares that are basically half a map away before the wisp will reach them and lose the benefit. So I have to be a little careful with that. But that's how ridiculous the clear is with this build. Um, Another pro for this build is that while I'm using lightning spear to clear, you don't have to use that skill. You can use any other skill or even weapon as long as it's a projectile. Uh, it's very versatile. You can use glacial lance, explosive spears. You could maybe use a crossbow. You could use a bow, but you will have to change a couple things on the passive tree, just as long as you have the same amount of or the same equipment on. Another thing is that the build has so much crowd control that you will rarely get hit, or you will rarely have your monsters hit or use their abilities. Uh, that's even if they survive at all, because most of the time you just insta kill everything. As at least on maps. Um, Also, another really plus is that you can get this build ready for T15 maps for less than 10 divines. Uh, if you want to do pinnacle content, you have to spend a little more. You have to add things like ingenuity belt and and such. And a couple of the jewels can cost a lot of money. Uh, uh, just because of the current market is going crazy. But uh, I spent less than 10 divines when I was already blasting T15 maps easily, and that includes uh, the lowest level difficulty for pinnacle bosses. Now, there is definitely some cons on this build, and uh, right now, the way the build is set up, there's very little defenses that you will have. You'll only have uh, just your crowd control and basically a couple of extra maximum elemental resist, but that's it. There's not a lot of defenses. Uh, However, you most of the time you don't need it because you just delete everything. Uh, Another hardship is that the single target DPS is currently lacking. I'm only currently at 2 to 3 million DPS, which is kind of low. But I have an idea on how to get it up to where it needs to be. So that's something work in progress. But I do need to change some equipment around. And then the third thing that's bad about the build is that it's pretty mana hungry. So you're gonna have to uh, get things like mana on kill, jewels, and such to be able to sustain. And that's the only way you can sustain that I've found. But that, enough talking. I'm gonna show you uh, a couple clips. The first one's gonna be of just a T4 map boss, okay? And I want you to pay attention to the pin, the pin stun meter on the boss. Just pay attention to that. It's gonna be on the top left corner of the screen. So if you notice that the the pin meter, even after the boss came off of the stun, it immediately filled up again. And as you know, when a boss comes off of a crowd control, their threshold is increased by maybe 10 times. So it's almost 10 times as hard or harder to inflict the same ailment or the same crowd control on that boss. But even so, it still gets stunned immediately. And I'll show it again. Uh, I'll show it again just so that if you missed it, you can look at it. Again, pay attention to the stun meter on the boss. It, there it is. He comes off, immediately gets stunned again. So that's really where the main selling point of the build is that you can get away with murder and not having a lot of defenses just because you can get that done. And I'll get into how that works when I go over the skills and the equipment. The second clip I'm gonna show you is gonna be of a pinnacle boss fight. It's gonna be chest difficulty plus 3, so that you can see that it is possible to do pinnacle bosses with this build, because a lot of people, they want to see if that's possible before they even try a build. Otherwise, they won't even bother with it. So I wanted to show that. So here it is. And I'm using Stormlands and detonating them basically as the main damage dealer. When I was doing this fight, I hadn't figured out a better way to do it, which is throwing 2 explosive spears uh, into the lances, which makes it a lot smoother. And he should be done now. Okay. So as you can see, it's completely possible to do that, and I still have to optimize the build a lot more, and figure out how to get the damage in better or quicker. And I'm learning as I go because I just kind of came up with it. Now let's talk about the build, the equipment, and all that stuff. So first of all, for the equipment overview, uh, there's really not a lot of things that are super mandatory. So right now I'm getting my damage through critical hits, but you don't have to get it through critical hits. The important thing is that you get your damage through projectile skills, whatever that is. Uh, and the second most important thing is that you get your damage converted into 33% of each element, so that Trinity works. And I'll explain the Trinity interaction when I get to the skills. But it's mandatory to get these gloves for this specific build. Uh, they should be the numbers should be the same on each elemental damage as extra. So if it doesn't have to be 10, it could be 888, it could be 777, as long as it's the same, so that on average you're dealing 33% of your damage of each element most of the time. That ensures that your Trinity is maxed at all times. That's the most important thing. So number one, projectile damage skills doesn't have to be tangled, so it could be anything projectile. It doesn't have to be crits. It could be anything else, as long as your damage is optimized as you see fit. Then the third thing that is, I would say, almost necessary is to have as much levels uh, into your Trinity skill as possible. And the way I'm doing it is I'm getting 6 levels out of this buckler, because Trinity is uh, a cold skill, is a fire skill, and is a lightning skill. So I'm getting 6 there. I'm getting 1 here, so I'm getting a total of 7. Uh, I'm sorry, I'm not getting 1 here. Just getting 6 there, and then I'm getting 3 on the skill itself. So it's a total of 9 levels that I'm getting uh, to Trinity. And I'll explain the amount of extra damage that is, or how it works. But it adds up to 90% more damage uh, to all your elemental damage. So as long as you're doing elemental damage, projectile damage, split it in 3 and juice up the levels as much as possible. That should get you the build. And then the rest, you can get creative and you can mess around. I'm getting damage to crits, so I have juiced up uh, attacks, rings, and I have ingenuity. However, without ingenuity, I was still clearing maps just fine. Uh, Nothing was surviving at all. I also added the calamity, uh, and this just amplifies the clear exponentially, and that's where I'm getting the 3 screens away, things are dying, and I'm just hearing the things or the items drop, and it's quite satisfying. It's fun as hell. Also, speed is pretty good, just based on the skill tree. So it moves fast, it clears fast, it's fun to play. You can switch around skills. You don't have to play Lightning Spear. Uh, it's definitely very. I think it's got potential, but I think people that are smarter can figure out other ways uh, to maximize this path. Right now, my idea is to get rid of the chest and replace it with something else, and 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 switch my stats to uh from strength to intelligence, get 133 intelligence, and then use cast and crit for more consistent frenzy charges. Uh, I think that's the route I'm gonna go, but I need money for that, and once I do, I will definitely make those adjustments, and then that will push my damage to pinnacle difficulty 4 plus, and we'll be good to go. But however, uh, this is definitely feeling really good right now. So that's the skill, that's the equipment for the build. Uh, as far as the actual build itself, I'll link the POE Ninja in the description, so you can just click on it if you want to hear the rest, and you can just figure it out for yourself. Uh, Now, let's take a look at the passive three. Uh, Before that, like I said, uh, super glass cannon. The main defense is stun locking everything. And as you saw, the bosses get stun locked. Monsters don't even stand a chance because their threshold is a lot lower. So now let's take a look at the passive three. Okay, so because I'm using the critical hits as a damage power source, a lot of my nodes went into critical uh, uh, maximization or whatever. So uh, I started off pretty normal, took remorseless. Uh, then I went over here, took heavy ammunition uh, for the easy 40%. Took careful aim for accuracy close range. Took the movement speed over here. Took the increased evasion rating for the frenzy charge. Uh, because basically when you're running maps, this is always on, so it's an easy way to get 50 extra increased evasion rating to help a little bit. Um, Took cooked, 60%. I took escape velocity for the 3% movement speed. Catalysis, one of the few defensive nodes out there. Uh, I took stand and deliver because for bosses, I just stand in their face, stun them, and this bonus is always on during those fights. Uh, for regular mapping, it doesn't really matter what you have because your damage is just crazy for regular monsters. Maiming strike for the 2% movement speed, acceleration, movement speed. Uh, uh, One funny note is that coming calamity here boosts all your damage 3 times. So it's a pretty good deal. At least right now, when I switch, I might take that off. When I switch to a different chest and switch to cast on crit, I might take this off and get something else. Uh, then I took the obvious spear nodes over here. I took Falcon Dive because I have I have pinpoint shot which doubles my accuracy because my critical hit chance is 100% uh, due to the build that I'm the damage source that I'm using. So it made sense to take this, and that kind of doubled my accuracy. So this node gives me like 15% attack speed, which makes it worth it just for this build. I took Tinted Strike, which makes the main thing is makes the shocks a little better. It makes chill a little better, and it makes pin a lot better. So this is it benefits 3 times in this build, so it's very good. Then I went and took the Giant Slayer for more boss damage because that seemed to be the main issue with the build. Took this jewel socket here because it's premium. And then I went all the way over here to take the other jewel socket and to push the advantage because it's a 40% uh, bonus with one-handed melee weapons, which a spear is. Now, if you choose to take a different weapon or a different damage source, you might not want to go this route. You might want to go all the way up here uh, to this jewel socket and then take through strike or for the jugular or whatever else you might need around these parts. So the only reason I went left is because of the specific weapon I'm using. But it all depends on what you want to use for your damage source. Okay. Then to finalize everything out for the skill tree, I took heartbreaking, heart stopping, and struck through. These are meta passive skill nodes, which are very good, very bang for your buck. My anointed passive is uh, overwhelming strike. I was using the what is it called? I was using unbound forces before, but it wasn't really doing it for me, so I changed to overwhelming strike to further increase uh, the damage for bossing, and bossing is really what the main puzzle it is that we need to figure it out. So that's it for the passive three. I know I went pretty quickly, but again, I'll link the POE Ninja on the description if you want to take a longer look at it. I just don't want to make this video too long. So let's go to the skills. Okay. So for clear, I am using lightning spear. You don't have to use this. You can switch this for any other long range uh, projectile skill, and you'll be just fine. The clear will be it'll be a little less uh, crazy, but that's fine. It's up to personal choice, and a lot of people, uh, I know a lot of people don't like this skill because everybody's using it. But uh, until they bring everything else up, it's just if I'm already using the spear, it just made sense. I tried glacial lance as well, and it seemed to be just a little bit less good for just map clear, but it seemed to be a lot better for corridors, just because the range on it is so long. So it seemed to be better in corridors for some reason. But I ended up going back to this because I noticed that I was clearing like the distance of the clear was so far with this that I just decided to stick with it. Um, so what I have for the supports on this is overextend, long shot, just because it hits so far away, you're getting that bonus all the time. Uh, Primal armament, bolt for it to chain, and then twofold so that you get 100. Sometimes you get 100 more double damage with it instead of 50% more. So I didn't know what else to put in there. So that's what I have for that. Uh, Now for bossing, what I have is Stormlands, and what I have is set up with is elemental focus, close combat, deliberation. It's a free 20%, martial tempo, so I can get four lances down on time, so I can detonate them before they expire, and then lockdown, which uh, this is really the secret sauce here. This will make your pin more effective, not increased effective, or it's not increased effectiveness, it's more effectiveness. So if you're up in the boss's face like you should, your your pin is building up as if you're doing double damage. That's literally what this does. So it's insane, at least with the specific node that the tactician has. It's very, very, very good. I mean, it's way better than the damage just because uh, of the guaranteed lockdown that you get, and I think it's aptly named. So what I do is I throw four of these, and then I detonate them with anything, right? I can detonate them with Thunderous Leap, or I can detonate them with Explosive Spear, whatever. What each of them work just the same. However, I find that Explosive Spear is a little bit more. It feels a little bit more uh, smooth. The Thunder's Leap, because it puts you instead of right up on the boss's face, it puts you on top of them. It could cause some awkward situations, and it's also really hard to use it against the large scale bosses like the ones that they have their own little area like the Colossus or the Bone Tyrant thingy. those are really awkward to set up these skills with. So that's why I also have explosive spear to detonate. Um, there's no reason I have elemental sundering. I just testing it out, and it's actually a very useless spell because it takes too long to explode. The explosions are really small. Uh, it's just not really good right now. But I just have it there. Trinity, as I explained earlier, you hook it up with +3 levels and then +6 on the shield, so you have +15. Uh, yeah, you have +15 more elemental damage per resonance that's maxed out. I'm sorry, plus 30 more elemental damage per resonance maxed out. So if you multiply that by 3, you got +90, which is close to doubling your damage uh, on top of everything else. Uh, Then to final round everything out, I have Combat Frenzy, Wind Dancer, just just standard buffs. That's what I have for the skills. So I think that's close to 30 minutes, and I wanted to keep this video short. Uh, so I hope uh, I hope some people find this build interesting and maybe give it a try. And if you do give it a try, let me know what skill you choose to use to do your damage, and let me know if it works out for you. Um, and then I will probably post uh, an update to this build whenever I figure out uh, how to switch things around so I can do uh, max low difficulty pinnacle bosses very quick. I'm sure I'll get there. I just gotta tweak things around and find a way to get castle and crit uh, enabled in the build. Well, that's all I got for you. I hope you have a great day. Thanks for checking the video out. See you later.